Hey everybody, this is Chris, MTGO's Rex Start, and this is part one of this week's Show and Tell series covering the Tribal Legacy format and the Tribal Apocalypse Player Run event. And as always, looking at decks that finished in the top four of the event. And in part one, we are going to cover two decks. We're going to cover Chamail's first place Devil's deck and Big Brother's fourth place Beast's deck. And at the end of this part one video, please stay tuned because I am announcing a contest related to Beasts with a prize that I will give away to the first person to pull it off in a tournament. And I'll explain the details when we get there. But let's start with this Devil Sligh deck. And Chamail has run here 8 2-power 1-drops. The double Goblin Guide hands are so insane that splashing him off Tribe is an excellent choice. Forge Devil can take out an opponent's 1-drop sometimes. Probably a little better in regular events than it is in this week's event. This week's event, the top 6 all-time tribes were disallowed, which includes a lot of the humans, elves decks that are going to have some utility guys that this guy's going to pop. But still a nice solid 1-drop. Vexing Devil is seeing some play in Modern and possibly in Legacy as well. And although I don't usually like these have your opponent make a choice cards, they will probably let him live if they can kill it, and they will probably bury him if they can't. But you know, with as much reach as this deck has in terms of the burn suite we'll look at in a second, you know, sort of getting him for 4 damage for 1 red is pretty excellent, even if they just bury the thing. So Lightning Bolt is probably doesn't need any justification. Searing Blaze I really like, although I do think that you know, in a format with 20 creatures, it's always going to be live. But I would probably play some fetch lands in here instead of just 22 mountains. If you don't want anything to come into play tapped, I understand just having basic mountains. There's a certain you know, eloquence to that, stability, but some number of fetch lands here in place of maybe 6 of these mountains for a little deck thinning and to sort of turn this landfill on is something we used to see when last time Red Deck Wins was popular in Standard with Searing Blaze. Torch Fiend is a 2-1 with an upside, and it's not that impressive, but you have to remember Sligh decks have played 2-1s with downsides for 2 at various times in Magic's history, definitely back in the mid-90s, and so not altogether bad, and it has the upside of being able to kill swords on the opponent's side, for instance. Hell Rider is just an absolute all-star in Standard right now. I think he has a lot of potential synergy with, say, token strategies and things like that, but he's certainly, even in any aggressive deck, he's going to come in for 4 damage essentially just on his own, and he gets a nice way to beat him down within burn range so they can be finished off. Now, Price of Progress and Fire Blast, he's running 4 Fire Blast, and that's been done in Sligh decks before. 4 Price of Progress is a little risky in this format because I do think that some people will be able to play around it, or it will just be blanks against them because we're running basics. The people it's probably going to hurt the most are people with sort of semi-budget multicolor mana bases that aren't built around, say, fetch lands and duels, because the fetch duel players can probably play around it by just fetching basics once they've seen it. But the people with more budget multicolor mana bases won't be able to play around it quite as well. But in any event, I think playing with 4 of them might be a bit too much. It could be a little risky, but it's not again, he finished first place with it. As long as you get 6 damage or more, then it's better than the alternatives. If you're only getting 4, the usual rule is that you want to probably play something else instead of Price of Progress. But the mana base, apart from the possibility of fetch lands, the last time Red Deck Wins was really good in Standard, Tech Edge was around, and it ran Tech Edge. And, of course, Wasteland was in the original Tempest Sligh decks. If you didn't have Wasteland, I would think maybe playing Tech Edge here. But there is double red on Searing Blaze, for instance. Maybe he just wanted to be really sure that he always had at least double red, which is understandable. But normally I would think try to do something with one of these lands, Barbarian Ring, something like that, squeeze a little bit of extra damage. But you can't beat Basic Mountain that does have a certain stability that definitely lends to the consistency of the deck. So now we're going to take a quick look at the 4th place deck, which is a Beast midrange deck by Big Brothers. And I was really excited to see this because Big Brothers is mostly known for being an elf player, and I really liked seeing Big Brothers branch out a little and build this sort of multicolored mid-range aggro deck here. It has a lot of the hallmarks of a good mid-range aggro deck. It has some acceleration. It has a lot of incremental and repeatable card advantage with the Planeswalkers here, Johnny Vengeant and Garruk Wildspeaker, and of course Bloodbraid Elf to give it some card advantage, some additional velocity. The Ceradon Yearlings are nice early beaters there. Woolly Thoctor's a huge body, getting in the way of your aggro opponents. He's got contested cliffs in order to get some repeatable removal by making his beefy guys fight the smaller opponent characters. Now, I love everything about this deck up to about this line right here. The Realm Razors, Gargadons, and Sheevan Wumpuses, not so sure about this. The Realm Razor and the Gargadon combo if you have some sort of crazy landfall stuff going on, but he doesn't really have any of that. The Sheevan Wumpus doesn't combo with the Gargadon at all. You can sack it to the Gargadon with the trigger on the stack, but if they do, once you let them choose whether or not to put it on top, your chance to sack it to the Gargadon is lost. So this is kind of a non-bow here. Gargadon is a fine finisher in his own right. You know, if certainly it's protection against board sweepers a little bit. You can just sack your guys to the Gargadon if they're about to get swept anyways, and have a finisher that can come over the top and maybe finish your opponent off in the next turn. So I mean, I like Greater Gargadon, but I'm not sure ultimately if this is the optimal way to go on this. But all in all, I was very excited to see Big Brothers playing something that was out of his normal, comfort zone, or at least for what he's been known for. And I hope we get to see some more creative decks from him over the months. Now, the prize competition. I have a dream of seeing a Ural the Miststalker deck, and he is a beast. That's why I bring it up now. A Ural the Miststalker deck played in the Tribal Apocalypse Player Run event and do well. I have tried, every one that I have tried has failed in the Just for Fun room. I can't quite get the mix right on it. Ural the Miststalker is a beast. He's 3 colors in Naya, and he gets +2/+2 for every aura attached to him, and he has hexproof. So the challenge is the first person who can go X1 or better, so either 2-1 in a 3-round event or 3-1 in a 4-round event, with a deck built around Ural the Miststalker. So it needs to be Beast Tribal, contain at least 3 copies of Ural the Miststalker, and contain at least 6 beneficial auras. So not just things you would put on your opponent's creatures, but beneficial auras designed to enhance Ural and or other creatures. The first person who can go at least X1 or better in a Tribal Apocalypse Player Run event with a deck meeting those criteria will get a copy of Angelic Destiny. This is currently selling for between 4 and 5 ticks on Moto, and is one of the coolest auras ever printed. I have a really nice looking foil one that I like in my Angel EDH deck, and if you are an enthusiast for creature auras and hexproof creatures, this is something you might enjoy having in your collection. So the first person to complete the Ural the Miststalker challenge will get from me for free 1 copy of Angelic Destiny. Now, in part 2 of the video, I'm going to take a look at my second place slivers list from this week, talk a little bit about sliver deck building, and then take a quick rundown of what happened overall in all the X1 and better decks to take a look at how this metagame is shaping up. And I will see you in part 2.